Lots of people say there's no evidence for God. Well, we're going to knock that one out in 3. I'm just going to have to keep it simple, throw in the old 1-2 combo, get in and out real quick, and let you fine folks chat all about it, okay? Punch 1 I'm going to call the info uppercut. When's the last time you walked into a library and asked, hey, where are all the books that have been written by mindless products of natural laws? The librarian would probably laugh at you and tell you that no such books exist. They don't exist because they can't exist. Why not? Because first of all, it's just common sense. The words that form the message in books always originate from a person with a brain. Or to say it a bit more scientifically, the message of the book, the purpose, comes to be understood by the orderly placement of the words, design, and information. Information. Now, anytime we find info, these basic laws always apply. Number 1, matter doesn't spontaneously produce information. Number 2, only a mental source, intelligence, can generate new creative information. In other words, just like those books that couldn't originate without a mind, neither could life. Why not, you ask? Because we know that DNA contains information. Therefore, the laws of information science apply, which means the information in DNA couldn't have spontaneously generated, and that a mind is behind the information. Period. No exceptions.
False. The abiogenesis theory is a theory that all life started from inorganic molecules, commonly referred to as the primordial soup. Life was kickstarted in the primordial soup by energy input. Some creations say there is no evidence for abiogenesis. However, an experiment called the Miller-Urey experiment begs to differ. In 1953, a pair of chemists named Harold Urey and Stanley Miller conducted an experiment. They set up the following apparatus. Using this apparatus, they created the atmospheric conditions of the early Earth, proposed by Oparin and Haldane. They hypothesized that the early atmosphere had mainly ammonia, water, carbon dioxide, and small amounts of oxygen. Under these conditions, the effective energy sources such as lightning could form molecules like amino acids. This theory is known as the primordial soup theory. Back to Miller and Urey, after recreating the atmospheric conditions for the early Earth, they filled a chamber with warm water, methane, ammonia, molecular hydrogen, and water vapor. They then introduced pulses of electrical sparks into the chamber. After a week of running the experiment, they analyzed the material in the chamber and found various organic molecules, including but not limited to amino acids, which happens to be an example of organic material coming from inorganic material.
Look at it this way. The simplest life form we know of is an amoeba, and it contains as much information in its DNA as 1,000 complete sets of Encyclopedia Britannica. So, are we to believe that there's no way a message in a library book could spontaneously generate, but far more complicated messages in DNA that contain 1,000 times more information could have? Not likely. You see, when it comes to life or anything else that contains information, the laws of information science confirm the necessity of a creative mind. And guess what? In the very first book of the Bible, it just happens to mention that. In the beginning, God created. Bam! Uppercut lands on the chin.
More like a swing and a miss, man. Despite what you may like to think, there is actually little to no science in the Bible. In fact, you could even using the verses in the Bible, you can make a solid case for God creating the earth flat, God creating a geocentric, which is with the earth in the center, with the moon, stars, planets, everything else orbiting around it. But we don't see that. We see not the exact opposite, but we see heliocentric model, which involves us orbiting around the sun, and then the sun is orbiting around the center of the galaxy, with the galaxy just moving throughout space.
And now here comes the indefensible head blow. We'll call this the Nada Big Bang Bing Swing, the KO to the claim that there's no evidence of God, the law of causality, left hook of doom. It goes like this. Everything that had a beginning had a cause. The universe had a beginning, therefore the universe had a cause, or nothing caused it. I might not be the smartest guy behind the telescope, but honest, practical, everyday thinking's going to lead me to the former. You have to work pretty hard to conjure up a way that nothing did it. You see, it's pretty improbable, nigh impossible, to account for design, information, and cause if the universe just exploded from nothing.
Alright, I see this misunderstanding a lot when creationists start debating the Big Bang, but let's just get this straight at this point right now. Nothing exploded, and by nothing I mean there was no explosion at all. The Big Bang refers to the expansion of the universe, which happened approximately 13.8 billion years ago. It just states how the universe expanded from its dense and hot state to its cold, sparse one. So nothing did not explode because nothing exploded. There was no explosion. It was mere expansion.
Smack. And while we're on the topic, where did the matter come from that exploded?
Matter is essentially just a compressed form of energy. And in accordance with the first law of thermodynamics, energy cannot be created or destroyed. Therefore, energy is eternal, and therefore, matter is eternal.
Are we really to believe that there was nothing and then it exploded, and now the exploded nothing is something, and we just happen to be smart enough to discover and understand the very laws that prove the opposite? And if the general understanding of the law of cause and effect is true, how can matter come from a lesser cause like nothing?
As previously stated, matter didn't come from nothing. Matter came from energy, which, in accordance with the first law of thermodynamics, again, is eternal.
I mean, come on. I don't have a bunch of letters after my name, but even a monkey knows better. And yeah, I snuck in a couple of extra jabs in there, so sue me. Now
Those jabs held about as much weight as Kenthoven's diploma does.
for some parting words from our sponsor, the Bible. It tells us in Romans 1:20 that since the creation of the world, God's invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. It also says that people actually know the truth, but they reject it, which explains why even though there's overwhelming evidence that there is a God, evidence won't convince the unwilling. Sad but true.
Alright, man. Are you saying that the Bible, a story with a bunch of mystical elements, unbelievable stories, will say that there would be scoffers? I wonder why.
So there you have it. With just a couple of meaningful blows, the claim that there is no evidence for God is down for the count, mi amigos. In other words, it's been debunked. Adios.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like for me to keep following this playlist of them debunking certain parts of science or secularism, please comment it down. Have a nice day.